Hello and welcome back to Game Saga's Let's Play of Chrono Trigger. We are in 600 AD and we're getting ready to go to the Denadoro Mountains, so let's get started. So here we are at the Denadoro Mountains, and there's a bunch of treasure chests in this area of the game. And I tried to avoid those enemies, but unfortunately I ran right into them. So we're going to have to fight them. But they're pretty weak, so it's not too much of an issue. Somehow Fire Whirl is going to hit all three of these guys, even though it doesn't look like it should hit the top one. But I'm not complaining. And Marley's going to take out this other guy with ice. And I couldn't really remember my way through this part of the game, so I get lost a few times, so just bear with me as we explore through here. So there's some kid there, just around with the screen. He's been chased by this goblin, just so we're gonna have to kill him. Goblin, that is. Chrono one-shot him. The kid comes up here. He tells us to leave. Here's another goblin. This one has a hammer. They're actually called Ogans, or Ogans. And if you don't use fire ability on him, he'll keep the hammer, and you won't do hardly any damage. But if you get rid of the hammer, you can do full damage. And one of the NPCs we talked to earlier actually told us that. That's how you figure that out. We got a Mirage Hand, that's an upgrade for Robo, who's not currently in the party. But we can still equip him even though he's not in our current lineup. Here's where I decided to switch out the side scope for Luca, I believe. Yeah, I gave her the ribbon, so that increases her attack power, which will come in handy for different parts of the game. And I should have gone all the way up on that screen, and that was my mistake. So I ended up having to come back to where I was, where I got the Mirage Hand. But I won't need to, because it's actually just below where we are right now. So that was a mistake to go back there, too. Like I said, I got lost a few times. Alright, we gotta fight these guys to get to the treasure chest up there. Like I said, you can use any fire ability to get rid of the hammers. In this case, we're gonna use Fire Whirl to get rid of the enemy on the right and also get rid of the hammer on the Ogan. And he has 126 health, I think goblins do anyway. I don't know if the Ogans still have that amount or not, since I unequipped sight scope. And there's a Ogan right there that's going to dash back and forth when we cross this path. You can easily avoid him though, just make sure you dash. And as long as Chrono doesn't touch an enemy, you won't get it in a battle. And some ninja thing that's running around. There's a couple more of them that drop down on us when we try to get the treasure. They're called freelancers. They are ninja bird things. They're pretty weak though. But they will be annoying throughout this area of the game. Down there, gold helm, which we originally got for Chrono back on Xenon Bridge. And Luca and Marley can't use those, so we gave it to Robo. There's another Ogan. I wonder if we had Fire Sword at this point, if that would kill him in one hit or not, but we don't have that ability yet, so we'll just have to stick with regular old fire. And then let Chrono one-shot them after that. So that freelancer just threw a rock at that Ogun and woke it up, so we gotta fight both of them. There's no way to avoid that I know of. So you're just gonna have to make do and kill them. They're pretty simple to kill, so. Enemies in this part of the game are not that challenging, but the boss that we're getting ready to fight in this area is much more challenging than the regular enemies. I had forgotten to get that treasure chest there, so I have to come back for that. At least I think I forgot it. So now I decided to go back this direction. I'm not sure why I did, but we'll see. And this particular group of enemies right here, they respawn every time you leave the screen, so if you keep coming back through here, you're gonna have to keep fighting them. So if you do want to grind at this point in the game, these guys are some you can kill until you get bored of killing them or get whatever levels or gold or text you need. I think this is when I decided to go back to the lower portion down there where I was earlier. Yeah, that's where I'm going. So I didn't know there was anything down here for me to do, but there's not, as you can see. Only thing to get there was that one treasure chest on the left there, which I had already gotten. So that was a waste of time, but oh well. Better to look several times than to end up missing something. You see what I was saying? These guys are back again, even though we just killed them a minute ago. I've got the battle speed turned all the way up, but it's still going too slow in my opinion. I'd like to make it go faster, but I can't. And now I remember to get the treasure chest up here, so we're gonna get that. And it was just a mid-ether. Not anything super important, but good to have on hand for battles and that sort of thing. And this is another guy that respawns every time, and you can't avoid him. There's a lot of those in this particular area of the game for some reason. Nothing too complicated, as you saw. Well, I tried to avoid this guy here, but as you can see, that didn't work. Somehow that freelancer got in 2 turns before I got in 1. I don't see how that's fair, but oh well. See, we got rocks being thrown at us from that freelancer over there to the left. So I don't know if they do damage or not, but they will knock you off ladders and such if you get hit by one. I went back here because I couldn't remember if I got the treasure chest or not. And we got some more freelancers to kill. And Chrono's getting low on health, so we're gonna have to heal him up sometime. But we don't need to for this battle because we one-shot both of them. There's a good amount of gold in the treasure chest in this area, so that's something you should keep an eye out for. Obviously you won't know what's in there unless you've already been here before. But it'll help when you need to buy equipment and consumables and that sort of thing. And Chrono's really low on health here. He might get killed. But he managed to stay alive, so that's good. And this part of the game right here is a gauntlet of sorts, similar to what we saw in the factory, where you can't heal up between battles and that sort of thing. So that's not good that Chrono was low on health. Fortunately, we were able to get off an aura whirl before he got killed. Fill everybody up. I think you gotta do 3 fights in a row here before you are finished with this part of the mountains. I probably should attack the Ogun with Chrono, but I got lucky and Marley did a critical. Alright, I think we're going to the gauntlet part now. Or maybe not. Got another fight. This is fight number 4 for the gauntlet. You can get a level from Marley there. I decided to heal everybody up using Aura. It only takes 1 MP, so it's a cheap ability and saves us from using items, which we can use in battle. Although we can use Aura in battle as well, but still. Items cost money. Aura does not. So we finally finished the gauntlet. We're on the next screen now. I was trying to target all 3 of them, but they didn't want to cooperate. And that ability for Marley and Luca, the dual attack, is actually called Antipode, not Plode, as I said earlier. Sorry about that. Although Antiplode would make more sense to me since that's kind of an explosion, but oh well. Maybe it was a mistranslation or something. There's another freelancer there that's slashing at the air. This part you gotta be careful on, because if you see the Chrono's moving on his own there, that means that if you are not careful, you'll fall down the waterfall and you have to go back up. But we will do that in a little bit, intentionally. But you don't want to do it quite yet. You can, I guess, but you're just going to have to come back this way anyway, so. And the only thing down there is a couple of items that you can get, treasure chests. They're accessories. They're not really required, I don't think, but they can come in handy. And Marley just learned Cure, which is a upgraded version of Aura. Only heal for more damage than Aura does. This guy here, you talk to him 3 times and he'll say you're bugging him, and he'll give you a magic tag. And I tried talking to him again to see if he would give me anything else, but I did it several times there, as you can see, and he didn't give me anything else. I was trying to decide who I wanted to use it on, but the use screen there doesn't show you what the magic stat is for your character. You have to go to the equip screen here to determine what their magic level is. And I decided to use it on Luca, since she's also a magic user like Marley, and hers is lower than Marley's. So there's a save point you saw there, so we're getting close to the boss. But we weren't ready to do that yet, so we skipped those treasure chests that were at the bottom of the waterfall. And these bellbirds here, they respawn, so we gotta kill them again. They'll do Chaos, which is a confused ability, where it will make your character randomly attack your other party members. But fortunately, we killed them before Marley could do anything. Chrono's got Spin Cut, oh yeah. Because that unlocks Ice Sword and Fire Sword, which are 2 of the best dual attacks in the game at this point. Spin Cut is the prerequisite for that, for those dual attacks. Obviously Ice Sword is with Marley, and Fire Sword is with Luca. Those will come in handy for our boss fight that's coming up. As you can see, we jumped down the waterfall and we got a silver stud, which is an accessory. It cuts your MP use by 50%. I was trying to decide if I wanted to equip it or not. I decided not to for the time being, because I thought that the other items that I had equipped would be better suited for what I needed to do. I didn't really have a problem running out of magic, so it wasn't really necessary. And the other one we got over here is a silver earring. That will increase your max health by 25%. And I was going to put it on Chrono, and I did temporarily, as you can see. But then I decided that I would take it off him and leave the power glove, I think it was, that he had. Then I gave it to Marley, since she was the one member of our party who had the lowest health. You can go down here to the bottom of the waterfall, but there's nothing here for you to do, just scenery. So you gotta go back up here through the trees there. That takes us back to this screen, which you've already been on before. And you can't go back to the left, which is where you came from. So we're at the screen here where the gauntlet was, and you don't have to redo that, thankfully. And this is the screen where the waterfall was. So now we're back up top side, and then we can proceed with the rest of the area. Since we got the treasure chest that we need to get. And we gotta fight these stupid bell birds again. And I decided to use Fire Whirl to try to get rid of them more quickly. And that decided to do 200 damage to all of them and took them all out in one hit. Which is nice. And Luca gained a level. Alright, now we're ready to save the game here. Use the shelter, make sure everybody's to full. Because we're going to have the boss fight coming up in a little bit. And you'll want every bit of health and magic you can get for that fight. There's another freelancer throwing rocks, as I mentioned. And we got another gold suit, which we don't need. So earlier when you bought them at the vendor, you could have only gotten away with only buying 2, actually. But you'll get a 3rd one here. And you have to be careful back there where there's goblins, because the freelancer will throw rocks towards you, and if he hits one of the goblins, they'll wake him up and you have to fight him. In that particular waterfall there, you won't fall down, so you don't have to worry about that one. And we talk to that kid there, and then go up here to this sword, and the kid decides to jump up here and prevent us from getting at the sword. He wants to know if we're here for Masamune, or Masamune. And you say no, and he says, okay, well, leave then. Basically. And then you have to go back up there again, and you say, yeah, you're here for Masamune. And he calls out his brother. And their name, Masa and Mune, of course. And you'll see why in a little bit. So I transform into these guys, and we've got part 1 of our boss fight. Gotta fight them as separate individuals here for the time being. So we're going to try our new techs here, Ice Sword and Fire Sword, and see how that works. This is Ice Sword here, Chrono and Marley. Almost 500 damage in one hit, that's pretty good. And when you attack these guys, they do a counter attack there, which is X Strike, which is the same ability that Chrono and Frog have. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's something to be aware of. Alright, now we're going to do Fire Sword, which is Chrono and Luca. That almost did 500 damage as well. And you only have to kill one of them, you don't have to kill both of them, which is nice. Or defeat, I guess, you don't actually kill them yet. Alright, so they talk to each other, and now they are going to merge. And they're become this big, weird looking thing. And the name is Masamune, but it's the embodiment of the Masamune sword. And this guy can be pretty tough, so you gotta make sure you keep an eye on your health for this fight. And if you have Ice Sword and Fire Sword at this point in the game, those are very good abilities to use for damaging. And you can have Marley heal and Luca cast Fire if she's not currently casting Fire Sword. And Masamune will do that tornado ability there where he throws you up in the air. That does a good amount of damage, but not a whole lot. That's not the one you gotta worry about. When he's doing that stance there, he's storing energy, and you have to use Slash or Chrono to break it up, which I'm not gonna get probably. I could have done it there possibly, but I decided to do Aura Whirl instead to heal everybody up. And that's the ability it does if you don't use Slash, and that does massive damage to all of your party members. As you can see, Luca's almost dead. And she just got killed. Right before I did Aura Whirl. Doesn't do any good to heal her when she's dead. So that's why you want to use Slash with Chrono to interrupt the ability. The storing energy ability. And basically in this fight you just have Chrono do that whenever he's in the storing stance like he is now. And you see here that will interrupt it. Neutralize it as the game calls it. And then you can use Ice with Marley, or you can heal your party members with her. And you can use Fire with Luca. And if you're good on health, you can use one of the sword abilities too. We're out magic with Chrono now though, so we can't do any more of those. Nor can we do Slash, so we're gonna have to use an Ether on him. I decided to use a mid-Ether because I want to get his magic up all the way. Or close to it. Even if you get Slash every time to interrupt the ability there that damages everybody. And you just killed Marley, that's not good. She's our healer. So we're gonna have to bring her back to life. But yeah, this is saying even if you get Slash every time to interrupt the big ability there that he does, it still can be a tough fight. As you can see, I've already had Marley and Luca each die once each. Basically, just rinse and repeat the process you see me doing here. Obviously, this is a tougher fight if you don't have Fire Sword or Ice Sword yet, so it won't hurt to grind a little bit if you don't have those abilities. I managed to get them because I had to backtrack a lot and fought a bunch of respawning enemies that normally you wouldn't fight if you were going straight through here, but only one time. But it's possible to do it without Fire Sword and Ice Sword. You would just use Ice and Fire instead. And Slash with Chrono, of course. And we just killed him. And we got a level for Marley and Chrono. But since these guys are important to the game, and they're the embodiment of the sword, we don't actually kill them. We just defeat them. So they go back up into the sword, and you touch the sword and it turns into this thing here. Which looks like some sort of diamond or something like that. But it's actually a broken piece of the sword, Masamune. So we're going to have to figure out how to get it fixed to be able to use it. And And that's all the time we have for this video, or close to it here, once we get back out of the mountains. So we'll continue our quest for the fixing the Masamune in our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of